Muy buenas a todos, señores, señoritas, animales, lo que haya por ahí, que estamos en otro vídeo de Genshin Impact. Señores, tengo que deciros que llevo 3 o 4 días jodido, tío. O sea, me ha dado fuerte. Que si fiebre, dolor de garganta, tos. Y hoy estoy grabando porque lo que haremos hoy seguramente no me exija hablar mucho. Vamos a terminar la misión de Arconte y ya sabéis que yo aquí me quedo calladito. Primero os voy a mostrar logros. Logritos, a ver, ¿dónde coño están? Todos estos son de los jefes de Fontaine. Estoy jodido, ¿eh? O sea, es increíble. Ayer tuve, no, creo que fue antes de ayer, 38 de fiebre. Y tuve que dormir sin pijama casi. Bueno, vamos a continuar. Estábamos aquí. El desastre se avecina. Teníamos que ir a la ópera. Aquí estamos.
Look, there are a ton of Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there. The knave is probably here already. We need to hurry. Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Neuvillette has left instructions. Please follow me. Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could protect Lady Furina to the best of your abilities.
Haré todo lo posible. Bueno, a ver qué pasa, porque esto huele calentito, ¿eh? Habla de Fatui, habrá una reunión, quién sabe si con Arlecchino otra vez. ¡Hostia!
Oh, so you two are the honored guests Miss Furina mentioned.
Of course, of course! How could they not attend a meeting such as this? I must always have 2 or more guests at my dessert table. Otherwise, the occasion would be too lonely and unbecoming of my station.
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments. I am the Knave, one of the 11 Fatui Harbingers.
Esta es Arlecchino, la líder de la Casa de la Hoguera y madre de Linné y sus hermanos. Desde luego parece muy fuerte. El placer es mío.
I've already prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Furina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the time. See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Furina simply adores. There are only 16 slices sold every day. Here, why don't you and Paimon have a taste?
Parece relativamente amigable, pero esto no será fácil. No puedo subestimar a Arlecchino. Debo de ser muy cuidadoso.
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
Bueno, está buena. Y a Paimon también le gusta.
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Furina and I.
¿Por qué razón diría eso Neuvillette?
I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about his safety, you know. Here's to hoping that he's an excellent swimmer.
Confío en sus habilidades.
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really looked certainly pretty impressive, yeah.
Furina parece un poco nerviosa, como si hubiera algún problema entre ella y Arlecchino.
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Furina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Neuvillette right in front of you. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my
Aquí ya
admiration
dejan
for
caer
Monsieur Neuvillette.
que no es alguien normal, Neuvillette. He averiguado cierta información sobre lo ocurrido con Neuvillette.
Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier. As you well know, a long time has passed since Child disappeared.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that Child is still alive.
Oh, and just how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Meripede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Well...
Maldición, Paimon nos ha dejado en evidencia.
The Fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely?
No. Pero no hay nada que indique que le haya pasado algo.
Oh, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable,
Tonya?
I picked it up on his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it something like that?
No. No deja de meter presión. No sé si podré convencerla, pero al menos puedo hacer que la presión la dirija hacia mí en vez de hacia Furina. Es muy similar a cómo lo haría Neuvillette.
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how it's written or how it's worded. Hold on. The water in the teacup is shaking.
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Furina.
Huh? I don't quite understand what you're trying to say.
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
A day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled, and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day! This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
Bueno, ahí ha salido Escara por un momento. ¿Qué ha pasado aquí? Hostia, ver esto estando malito es el doble de alucinante, ¿eh? Es la hostia lo de Neuvillette. No tiré por él. Algún día a lo mejor tiro, pero...
Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now? That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Marmonia for long.
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
No sé por qué no han traducido la parte de con el Fatui o no sé qué.
I must say, we've spent long enough playing house. Miss Furina, as the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed. Or should I say, that's what I originally thought. But looking at your expression, was I wrong? And you haven't a clue?
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true. Yet, here you are, relaxing, drinking tea, and eating desserts as if it's all nothing more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable? The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland. But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures!
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now. Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high.
Furina se está comportando de manera distinta y está refutando lo que dice Arlecchino con mucha seriedad. No está actuando, esta vez va en serio.
Then I ask you, Miss Furina, just what have you been working on? Where can we see it, and what is it doing to help?
¿Era mentira o es que no puede decirlo? ¿Por qué se armó de valor y de repente ha perdido la confianza?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself. They will only reveal themselves at the fated time. It is
I see.
Joder, la ha cortado sin querer. Pensaba que ya se había callado.
Allow me to be so bold as
Hombre,
to ask
ese ojo,
another
esos
way.
ojos que tiene Arlecchino.
Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such as your emergency response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Oh, that look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of those?
The emergency response plan is also strictly confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Furina, what is the purpose of your oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Furina. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the oratrice in the opera house. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Furina, I suppose you must have ordered him away to take care of some troublesome business.
Yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a secret for me.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Furina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please, help yourselves, everyone.
No pude intervenir en ningún momento. Ni siquiera sé qué es lo que fue a hacer Neuvillette. Supongo que fue al fuerte Merópide para encargarse del problema del mar primigenio, pero ¿de verdad será capaz de hacerlo? ¿Y Furina ha dicho la verdad?
Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard deserve gratitude and praise. You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take you up on that offer.
Bueno, Arlecchino comienza a hablar de cosas más relajadas, pero siguen sintiendo la presión de antes.
Oh, Paimon's super full. That cake was great. If it's on my tea table, it must be of the highest quality. Yes, and we must thank the knave for bringing these over as well.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Furina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Furina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters that I need to take care of, so I must take my leave now.
Very well. We'll end it here.
Mind seeing me off, traveler? We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
De acuerdo.
Paimon's coming too.
Muy bien. Bueno, pues claro, aquí dentro está Furina.
The tea party turned out to be... Why are you looking at me like that? Is something the matter?
No se puede utilizar a Naida. No puedo ver qué piensa. Vámonos. Solamente tenemos al viajero. Bueno, hay que ir para allí. Bueno, pues eso, que estoy mejor, pero tengo tos aún. Obviamente la voz se nota que no está bien. Pero bueno, mi objetivo es terminar la misión así mañana pues no tendré que grabar nada. Pues dejaré el vídeo de la misión de Arconte. Y se acabó. Bueno, ya está. A ver qué pasa.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
Bueno, ¿qué querías decirnos?
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude.
No me esperaba un agradecimiento.
Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important to me. You should know that I care deeply about my children.
¿Algo más?
That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them, especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Furina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily. Allow me to share my perspective with you.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the Fortress of Meripede.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Furina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you! You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Furina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy, it's actually making me a bit suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon.
Han habido muchas teorías de que Furina no es la verdadera Arconte. Y con esto de aquí, a ver, por algún motivo no tiene la Gnosis.
In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me! I'm begging you, please!
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Furina dares not mention this incident to anyone. Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Furina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she even bring herself to eat her cake. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon.
Hostia, esto...
Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette is actually the genuine article.
Esto ya es otro nivel, tío. Cuidado con esto,
I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden in a place that's hard for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the fortress of Meropide. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Ridesley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette. Oh, and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation of Furina and Iudex Neuvillette. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. My wish to investigate the fortress of Meropide will be a front. Lenny and his group will be responsible for the actual intelligence gathering.
Está intenso, ¿eh? Está muy intenso. Bueno, a ver si se carga hoy.
You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Furina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Furina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, that doesn't seem right to me either.
Realmente, Neuvillette es otra cosa. ¿Cómo estás tan segura?
I am a servant of Her Majesty the
O
Tsarist.
sea, el Arcón te crió.
Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex
Hostia.
Neuvillette or Furina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon. Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday.
Neuvillette?
He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
Neuvillette, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Furina.
¿Cómo fue ahí abajo?
To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate.
Pues nosotros Le cuentan lo ocurrido durante la hora del té.
So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Furina. She's trying to feel her out, though I'm still unsure as to her motives.
Podemos hacerle unas preguntas.
Permission granted.
A ver, ¿tal es su poder que pudo hacer retroceder el agua del mar primigenio?
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? But that's just a speculation on our part, though.
Uy, cuidado. Esa cara, esa reacción... Hostia, cuidado,
You can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you. You guys in Fontaine are super strange.
Está claro que quien calla, otorga. Y aquí Neuvillette ha otorgado.
If by the phrase "you guys" you are referring to Furina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics.
¿Percibió algo en el fuerte
I
Meropide?
believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Se siente apenado y cuando él se siente triste es cuando empieza a llover. Es así.
Huh? Why is it raining all of a sudden?
Hacía un día radiante y de repente se ha nublado. La lluvia ha cobrado fuerza y de lloviznar ha pasado a llover a cántaros. Justo antes de llover, Neuvillette dijo que se sentía apenado. Aquella canción y lo que dijo Freminet. En Fontaine había un rey dragón acuático que cada vez que lloraba se ponía a llover. Señoría, es usted.
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Está clarísimo, tío.
Oh? And what are you thinking?
Neuvillette es el rey dragón del agua.
The dragon of... what? Huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Furina?
Neuvillette! Neuvillette, are you listening?
My apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon sovereign of water, right? Well, if you don't want to confirm or deny...
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep it a secret.
Cerramos la tumba, o sea, cerramos la boca.
There's still something Paimon wants to ask you, though.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
O sea, claro, esto está demostrando que los dragones, ya tenía sentido, quizá, no lo sé. Se supone que llegaron antes a Tivat que los arcontes. Y que son más fuertes que los arcontes, ¿no? Porque el primer usurpador, ese no sé quién coño es de momento, le robó a los dragones una parte del poder. Y esa parte, pues, como que se la han concedido a los 7, ¿no? O al menos a la autoridad. Entonces el resto del poder, pues lo siguen teniendo ellos. Entonces yo creo que siguen teniendo más, ¿no?
There are 7 elemental archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our
Aquí
ancient
encima había otro
history.
antes.
In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, So even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you are welcome to discuss them with me at a later time.
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we pay another visit to the fortress of Meropide? Paimon is a little worried.
Hasta la próxima, señoría.
We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Increíble momento. Vale, el desastre se avecina. Se ha terminado. Una calma muy esperada es la siguiente y ha aparecido un logro. Relictos de otrora. Descubre cuál es la verdadera identidad de Neuvillette. Vale, pues muy bien. Una calma muy esperada. Regresa al fuerte Meropide, ¿vale? Pues vamos para allí. A ver. Exactamente. Vamos a ir aquí. Bueno. A ver qué pasa aquí, señores. Pero de verdad que se está revelando información potente, ¿eh? Potente de cojones. Vale, delante tenemos que ir allí, ahí. Bueno, desde el punto de aquí, de la derecha, desde este ya lo conocemos, vamos a ir revisando a ver qué encontramos. Por ejemplo, estos dos. A ver qué pasa.
You guys are back?
Crystal, Maroon!
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
Huh? No, not at all.
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as legendary jailbreakers, but now you're telling me you just never left?
We're sorry, but we just had some business to take care of.
All right. There's no need to get caught up in the details. We're just relieved to see you. He was super worried about you, you know.
Hey, it wasn't just me. Weren't you super worried as well?
Something like that, yeah. I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots. Are those two all right? Do you think they made it out alive? Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back with drinks in hand, enjoying the lovely scenery.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with worrying about your prison pals. Is there? I mean, considering how they always love listening to all my gossip.
Eso es cierto.
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendlier than when Paimon first
Seguro
met
que el
them.
comedor es un mejor lugar gracias a ustedes.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be watching you to make sure you finish every last bite.
Hombre, si me pones lentejas me las acabo en 2 segundos. Bueno, pues estos ya están. Voy a dejar la oficina para el final. Voy a ir para ahí, a ver. ¿A qué movimiento está Sitchwin?
Seedwing! Traveler! Paimon, you're back! Are you still doing all right? Did either of you get hurt?
No te preocupes, estamos frescos como un repollo.
We're fine, but what about you guys? It was such a huge mess. How bad was it? A few people sustained superficial injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur Neuvillette paid us a visit. It was all thanks to him that we managed to suppress the crisis for the time being. Of course, we must also thank you for the help you provided. How did Neuvillette know that he was needed here? Well, Monsieur Neuvillette has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level rises, he can feel the waves produced. I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a word. I'm so relieved to see that you're both all right. If you're not too pressed for time, please stay with us a few more days. Just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Wolsey get your meals prepared. Oh, and please feel free to visit the infirmary for a break at any time. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know. They're so memorable, and I've missed them immensely while you were gone.
Muy bien, lo tomaremos en cuenta. Vale, la siguiente está arriba. Ahora miraremos dónde. Falta la de la oficina. Primero quiero ir arriba. A ver, ¿cómo llego? Estoy en el 3. Este es el 2. Seguramente sea en el punto de abajo. Sí, es el punto de aquí. Vale, pues... ahora, cuando me acerque, diré que desde el punto de abajo se llega y punto. Ay, señor, qué bien. Qué bien. Estar jodido. Vale, desde el punto de abajo se llega a la enfermería, ¿de acuerdo? Solo tenéis que caminar un poquito, correr o lo que queráis y ya.
What suit will this next card be?
A bare-teeth cat?
Well, well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon.
Hello,
Looks like you're recovering nicely from it, eh?
Mm-hmm. Thanks to everyone's support. Oh, right. I managed to work up the courage to thank Miss Clorant in person.
Oh, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing. It was as if saving a life wasn't a big deal to her at all. She also told me not to worry about it.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's right, and it's best not to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we met the knave.
You met Father? Did she say anything to you?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand. And also that she's looking forward to working with us in the future.
Eso fue una sorpresa.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. That's fantastic. You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do everything in her power to help those she considers close, which now might also include you.
Mm-hmm. Father is very capable, and also trustworthy. Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Lenny was a bit too proud as well. She said that you should learn how to rely on others sometimes.
Got it.
That does sound like something that Father would say.
Hey!
Are you going to stay here for the next few days? Looks like it, yeah. Excellent. I will host a tea party. For real? Then Paimon wants another serving of cake. Another implies that you were already served some delicious cake while you were up there. How lovely. Well, next time, you're going to have tea and snacks with us.
Por supuesto, encantado, ¿eh? ¿Algo más?
We should start preparing.
I'll help you set.
Bah. Pues vamos a la que falta. A la oficina. Desde el punto de la derecha también, pues vamos a la oficina. Y a ver qué encontramos. Supongo que estarán Clorinde y Ryothusle. A ver, estarán arriba. Ah, no, están abajo. Aquí hay cositas, Coño. Ah, estos dos.
Courier, Miss Sishween told me you still haven't eaten.
Yeah, I was working on something, so I forgot.
That's no excuse for... Huh? What's you two?
Courier, Levine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently. How have you been?
Todo bien, gracias.
And you? Are you still taking the secret passageway from the infirmary to work on the ship?
Yep. That is still top secret, though. So don't say a word to anyone.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route over the one from the Duke's office.
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh, yeah? Then why are you also here so much?
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship, but not at all!
Hostia. Qué bonito. Bueno, tenemos que hablar con Ryothusle, supongo que estará arriba. ¿Y aquí qué? ¿Se puede mirar? No se puede, tío, pero hostia. Yo creo que en algún momento nos dejarán ir hacia ahí, Esto es la hostia, tío. Este es el barco Fortuna del que nos habló Ryothusle hace un tiempo. No, habrá que subir. Tenía pinta, la verdad. Ahí está. Arriba de la oficina.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come back after making it to the surface? Some strange winds blowing of late.
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything still all right?
We're fine, for the most part. Neuvillette came down and took care of the worst of it.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere.
Mejor.
He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sigewinne's gift with him, though.
He sure sounds super busy.
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift from Miss Sigewinne.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Cloran received lipstick instead.
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Well, it's Neuvillette's own fault for making Sigewinne worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still pretty fond of picking out beauty products for the ladies. Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sigewinne too?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell until your term is up.
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
¿La comida está incluida?
You may access the cafeteria for free.
Toma.
Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Me gusta, Me gusta. Vuelve al área de descanso. De acuerdo. ¿Algo más?
Your file can't be closed until we've completed your paper.
Vale. Uf, a ver cómo llegamos. Creo que es desde el punto de abajo. Vamos a mirar. No creo que quede mucho ya, Tengo la sensación de cómo va a terminar esto. Vamos a dormir y soñaremos una vez más con Tartaglia. Estoy seguro, tío. No tengo ninguna duda. Bueno, desde el punto de abajo vamos volando, corriendo, caminando, trotando, como sea.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer prisoners though, so it really doesn't feel the same.
Es como si hubiéramos recuperado la libertad.
Being free sure feels pretty special now.
¿Algo que decir, Paimon?
How did you know?
Porque normalmente te vas a dormir sin más.
Hey, that's not true. All right. Okay, Paimon just wanted to say that we really are an amazing duo after all. It's like we've now gone to so many places together and become friends with so many people. We've never stopped traveling or stopped meeting new friends. There are so many bad things in the world, and we're just two people, but we've still been solving problems no matter where we go. Isn't that pretty cool?
Somos los mejores aventureros del mundo.
You're counting Paimon today? Aren't you the only adventurer here?
Tú eres la guía, eso también cuenta.
Let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward. Just the thoughts making Paimon giddy. Paimon's gonna crash, so you sleep soon too. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside our cell. The primordial seawater nearly rose up. That was so scary. We should be safe now, right?
Claro, puedes dormir tranquilo.
All right then. Good night to you, traveler.
Buenas noches, Paimon. Ahora a soñar, ya veréis. A ver, era un poco de esperar. Pero a ver qué soñamos. Hostia. Hostia. Joder. Me ha entrado la tos de golpe al ver eso. Bueno, hemos superado la misión de Arconte, tío. Un cataclismo en ciernes. Ahora sí. Se acabó, coño. Voy a mirar el logro. Un cataclismo en ciernes. Completa la misión. Un cataclismo en ciernes. Uf, se nota que no estoy bien, A ver. Vale, esto es el evento temporal. Que vamos a empezar un poquito. ¿Qué va a hacer, tío? Ah, sí, esto. ¿Qué coño es? Ah, esto. Aquí me dan ahora... Eso, correcto. Y esto es para ponerle la constelación al viajero Hidro. Aunque no lo vamos a usar, pero bueno, ahí está. Y esto... Correcto, esto será lo que habrá que hacer pronto. Sí, pronto habrá que hacer esta. A ver, me gustaría hacer primero la de Gurayocesley. Pero voy a hacer primero la de Neuvillette, que salió antes. Eso ya en el siguiente vídeo. Vamos a empezar este evento temporal. Solo voy a mostrar... A ver, es un evento temporal, pero es de los importantes, que tiene escenas potentes y todo el rollo. Salen personajes importantes, en este caso de Liu. Y también de alguno de Mondstadt. Y... hoy lo empezamos. Y en el siguiente vídeo, pues lo terminamos. Que llevo 50 minutos. Y a ver qué pasa. Como son escenas donde no tengo que leer, pues aprovecho. A ver, tiene que estar por aquí. Y aquí ya, pues de tranquis esto, ¿eh? Esto de tranquis, sin prisa. Y ahí están Hu Tao, que me rechazó. Y Venti.
Oh, do I spy a traveler and a Paimon? We were just talking about you. This is more serendipitous than finding Mora after face planting on the road.
Ay, qué coincidencia.
It's been too long. I'll bet you have some thrilling new tales from your journey to fill me in on. I can
ya
see
sabes,
it in your eyes.
Cosas del viajero.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you.
What were you talking about before we got here? Something fun? Or something delicious? We were talking about one certain traveler, and how two's company but three's a crowd, as the inseparable duo tore around Tibet, making 4 friends here and 5 more there, often at 6s and 7s as they brave the lakes and seas, collecting pieces of 8 and countless other treasures. They clearly must have 9 lives. Wink, wink. Let's hope they have less than 10 deaths. What the... It just gets worse and worse.
Shortly, you may attend a grand banquet at Stone Gate. All will be dressed to the nines for majestic food and fine wines. And after 8 long drinks and 7 shorts, they'll each write 6 lines 5 times. You've been to all 4 corners of the world, so in 3 short seconds, can you guess from these 2 stanzas of one speech
Es una gala de poesía, pero voy a decir un festival de matemáticas.
It's not, though that does sound fun. In fact, it's a poetry gala, jointly hosted by representatives from both Mondstadt and Liyue. Do you still remember the promise I made to the distinguished director Hu here during the Lantern Rite?
Oh, something about writing poetry together? That's right. At the dinner table that night, I just knew this young bard was a rare talent with exceptional taste. You know, it's rare to encounter such a kindred spirit. And now, I've finally seized the chance to collaborate. It took me much trekking across the land to petition Eugene Terrace and contact the Knights of Favonius, but eventually... in the spirit of friendship and poetry sharing, I managed to successfully organize the neighboring nation's congenial poetry gala. Bit of a weird name.
Liyue's poetry is known far and wide, and Mondstadt is the city of wine and song. With 2 nations teaming up, it'll be double the fun, and a great chance for people from both places to get to know one another. Hu Tao and I will be the co-hosts for this poetry gala. Of course, I haven't studied the various forms and formalities of Liyue poetry for very long, so please forgive my dreadful performance just now.
Not at all, Venti. You followed my lead most excellently.
You flatter me.
Well, this sounds like fun. Let's get involved.
A ver, la verdad es que no se me da mal escribir poemas.
I'm sure you'll be amazing. Remember that time in Liyue when Paimon gave you the first half of a couplet? Wind rises, winds never churn. You came up with the second half right away.
Las nubes por el mar de nubes se están volviendo.
Oh, looks like someone's got a knack for this. Perhaps we'll have to raise the difficulty a little.
Que yo juego en nivel extremo, Hu Tao.
Alright, so basically you guys are here to discuss the Looks like little Paimon's brain has gained a wrinkle or two. You guessed it so effortlessly, but you still guessed it wrong.
Huh? Wait, Paimon guessed wrong?
We came here hoping to invite a special guest.
I already told you, I'm not going.
Hombre.
Xiao, you're here too!
Never having penned a verse myself, how could I hope to judge the poetry of others? Besides, afflicted with karma as I am, the raucous atmosphere you are cultivating is precisely the kind which I must avoid.
Hey now, there's a first time for everything, right? We all start from itsy bitsy spider, but give it a shot and you'll be wandering lonely as a cloud in no time. And you don't even have to join us in person if you really don't want to. You can just watch the party from a nearby mountaintop and cheer us on. But at least head down and take a look first. It's right by the inn, and there's plenty of fun activities to get involved with. It can't hurt to take a quick walk and check things out.
Besides, with the renowned traveler here, what is there to fear?
Vente con nosotros, verás qué bien nos lo pasamos. Venga, Xiao, hostia.
I'll consider it.
Bien, me gusta.
It's
Bueno.
nearly time. Why don't you all head to the venue and take a look around? Quite a few of your friends should have arrived by now.
Sí, sí,
Yes,
para
that's
ir.
right.
Ya os
Venti and I still need to
alcanzaré.
discuss the poem for the opening ceremony. So, we'll catch up with you later. Plus, our Adeptus friend might need a bit more convincing. We'll see if we can coax him down.
Gotcha! We'll be on our way then!
Bueno, pues así empieza, ¿de acuerdo? Lo voy a dejar aquí. No he llegado a la hora, pero no pasa nada.
How about that for an opening?
Yes, I like it. But if we could give it a bit more oomph, it would be even better. I think we should lead with a bang, dip into a slippity slide, then whoosh into a whoop whoop boom! Got it?
Got it! Completely understood.
Bueno, le subo buenas migas. A ver, ahora a día de hoy está Venti en el banner. Es el único arconte que todavía no tengo en esta cuenta. Lo tengo en otra, pero yo los quiero tener todas en esta, que es la que subo a YouTube. Pero es que ya me salió, en la última tirada que hice salió Tignari, en la tirada 20 además. Entonces tengo asegurada a Furina, que es mi objetivo. Entonces, de momento Venti va a tener que esperar. Sí que tengo muchas tiradas porque puedo comprar muchas más de las que veis ahí, porque tengo 33.000 protogemas, pero de momento a estos dos algún día yo los quiero en mi cuenta, tío. Pero de momento me quiero asegurar a Furina, porque además también algún día yo de vez en cuando voy haciendo tiradas en el banner este de armas. Sobre todo si hay dos armas buenas, ya que yo de 5 estrellas solo tengo una y es del permanente. Y aquí en el historial este voy a ver si puedo mostrarlo. Mientras no sé... Vale, bien. Aquí voy a ver cuántas llevo. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 27 llevo tiradas. Desde Kekin. Voy a hacer una de 10. No sé cuándo volveremos a tirar aquí, porque esto cada mucho tiempo. Sería las 37 esta, ¿eh? Vale, solo voy a mostrar esto y ya está. A ver si por lo menos merece la pena. A ver qué... Un personaje... Hostia. Memorias de sacrificios, ¿vale? Creo que no estaba mal. Pero estaría bien que me saliera algún personajillo de 4 estrellas, tío. Pero bueno, no vamos a tener esa suerte, creo. Bueno, pues ya está, señores. Así vamos a despedirnos. Bueno, pues yo de momento me despido y no me enrollo más. Lo voy a dejar justamente allí. Sí, aquí. Lo voy a dejar aquí. Empezaremos aquí. Mañana intentaré traer la misión de Arconte. Y ya, pues pasado mañana a lo mejor rematamos esto. Coño, qué susto. No, no, no.
think there'd be so many
Quieta, quieta.
people here already.
No quiero ahora.
And a lot of them are familiar faces.
Vale, ya, ya, ya. No me enrollo más. Disfrutad de vuestros días, pero recordad sobre todo de vuestras noches. ¡Hasta la próxima!